lessons from Confucius with you again. Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, thank you. So before I start my topic, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude for grace of heaven, the virtues of our holy teacher, our grand senior elder Bai Shui Shengdi, and senior elder Bu Xiuxi Bodhisattva. Thank you, Master, my dog friends and sisters. You give me so precious opportunity to make your sharing. Thank you very much. Today I would like to continue a topic that has already been shared many weeks ago. And today's topic will focus on a brief introduction to Duanu, who is also one of the greatest disciple of Confucius. I'll share I'll also share several paragraphs illustrated by Confucius' disciple in the Analects. There are several parts in this sharing. Confucius, first one is Confucius and his disciple. Is the same as the next time. A brief introduction to Duanmu Ci, Zigong, and also Duanmu Ci, Zigong in the Analects. As we know that Confucius is known as the first teacher in China who wanted to make education broadly available and who was instrumental in establishing the arts of teaching as a vocation. In teaching, he said uh, Confucius think there should be no distinction of class, and Confucius educates his students in accordance with their ability. He also established ethical, moral, and social standards that form the basis of way of life, known as what we call Confucianism today. His teaching became a prominent milestone in Chinese culture, and it was traditionally believed that Confucius had more than 3,000 students, but that only 72 students mastered what he taught. So very few is known most of Confucius' students, but some of them are often mentioned in the Analects of Confucius. Today I'll try to introduce one of them. And Confucius teaches students from different kinds of field and occupation. So that's why the scholar in the later generation divided their talents into different kind of field. Okay, so now let's start a brief introduction to Duanmu Ci. Okay, so before I, I start my introduction, let's guess who is the god of wealth or fortune? Fortune in Indian culture. Who is the god of wealth? 易学 who is the god of wealth in Indian culture?
Goddess Lakshmi.
Lakshmi. Really?
Yes.
Oh, I look up the dictionary and the dictionary give me this answer. Is that right?
Yeah, it's the same. We can say that this is also,
The good
you know,
fortune is a god
yeah,
of good fortune, right?
right.
Ganesh? Yes, yes. Okay. So in Chinese culture, 端木赐子贡 is a god of wealth and good fortune in Confucianism. So he plays a very important role in Confucianism. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so 子贡端木赐, also known by his courtesy name, 子贡 was a Chinese businessman, philosopher, and a politician, and he was the most loyal disciples of Confucius. Among Confucius' students, he was the second best at speech, after only Zai Yu, and he was a prominent diplomat of the spring and autumn period who served as a high official in several states, and he was a very wealthy businessman. According to the records of grand historian 史记 Zigong, this is a very important book recording the history of Chinese culture of China, and there are some different kind of recordings related to China. And Zigong was busy trading between the different kinds of state, and he was harmonious and well-rounded. And Zigong, Duanmuci, was so wealthy that he often generously presented lavish gifts to officials and governors. Whenever he went, the ruler treated him as an equal. Even Gou Jian, there was a very famous king during that period, is a king of Yue, cleared the road and personally received Zigong into his imperial court. While Zigong did very well as a merchant, he did not forget the teaching of Confucianism. Although he was wealthy, he was not proud. He remained a benevolent man. Because Confucius greatly valued righteousness and benevolence, he always wants Zigong to be a righteous merchant when doing business. He once said, riches and powers are every man's desire. If attending them cannot be done by legitimate means, do not accept them. He continued, poverty and loneliness are every man's dislike. But if staying away from them requires illegitimate means, illegitimate means, then do not stay away from them. So, which means Confucius hoped Zigong follow the principle of righteousness and benevolence. When serving as a merchant, he should be always equal and follow these two principles during the way. And then, okay, and the teaching of Confucius had an important influence on Zigong, who believed that as a Confucian merchant, one must not only possess knowledge from books and practical experience. Maintaining loyalty and trustworthiness was to him equally important. A merchant naturally worked for profit and riches. However, Confucian merchant must make sure he attains his profit ethically. So morality or ethics should be the guiding principle in any trading activity. So he said, while wealth is desire for gentlemen as well, he take it in his natural course. So that means morality is a basic principle for a man and should prevail in his business conduct. So, so after studying with Confucius, then Zigong, because of his great talent, he became the commandant of Xinyang city, and Confucius gave him this advice. Confucius said, in dealing with your subordinate, in dealing with your co-workers or your followers, there is nothing like impartiality. You should treat everyone equally. And when wealth come in your way, there's nothing like moderation. You should do business equally and following the principle of righteousness and benevolence. Hold fast these two things and do not swerve from them. Do not violate from the two principles. To conceal man's existence is to obscure the worthy, and to proclaim people's wickedness is a part of the mean man. So to speak evil of those whom you have not sought opportunity to instruct is not a way of friendship and harmony. So here Confucius is afraid that when Zigong became a government official, he will lose himself. So Confucius gave him a lot of principle to follow. Okay, then let's see the 子贡 in the Analect. Today I choose two paragraphs in the analect. So the first one, okay. 子贡问曰：有一言可以终身行之者乎？子曰：其恕乎！己所不欲，勿施于人。子贡 asked, he said, if there is one word which may serve as a principle of a rule of practice for all one's life, Master said, is an reciprocity forgiveness, such a word. What you do not want done to you yourself, do not do to others. So here we should see uh, Confucius. Uh, he think that maybe 子贡 端木赐 lack some kind of character, such as empathy, or because uh, he's actually successful in doing business, so he has a very high social status. That's why Confucius hoped his disciple to think more for others. So that's why he would say, "What do you want? What you do not want done to yourself, do not do to others." Okay. So let's come to see another paragraph. Here comes another one. 子贡问为人 how to become a very a man of a good virtue. 子曰：工欲善其事，必先利其器。居士邦也，士其大夫之贤者，有其事之人者。子贡 asked about the practice of virtue, how to become a virtue, a man of virtue. And the master said, "Oh, the mechanic who wishes to do his work well must first sharpen his tool. In this way, when you are living in any state, take service with most worthy among its great officer, and make friends of most virtuous among its scholar." Here, okay, Zigong is a very hardworking person, so Confucius often gave him a lot of advice. Here, Confucius want to say that if you want to learn Tao, you have to learn Tao with the right people and under a great learning environment. So you should try your best to get across, get close to those who have good virtue and good deed. So that's why 子贡, Confucius say that he want 子贡 to do it in his daily life. And finally, we can see there are similar thinking in 济公 Living Buddha's merciful words. Our 济公 Living Buddha say there are three learning tips with Tao. Stay with Tao, temple. Stay with Tao, seniors. Stay with Tao, stay with holy teachings. So here comes to my conclusion here. In conclusion, Confucius told students not the importance of ceremonies and etiquette, and also he tries to help his disciple to apply the wisdom of life to each of their daily lives. So different kinds of student, he will give different kind of advice and suggestions. So therefore, Chinese people address him as a great sage and teacher. Okay, so this is all my sharing today. For all the mistake I have made, I beg God's and Buddha's forgiveness. And Master, my dear Tao brothers sisters, please kindly give me your comments and suggestions. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lecture Home, for bringing us this wonderful sharing. And today we reviewed what Zigong has has taught us, and the heuristic instruction of Confucius takes the most important part of it. And in Zigong's story, in Duanu story, we learn that if we wanted to obtain wealth, we must keep morality above everything, because this is the basic of our soul, the basic way to obtain money. So, and the second thing is it tells us is that we need to treat everybody equally. Remember who you are. Don't change your mind when you are in different positions. And thirdly, uh, Confucius taught Zigong that what you don't want to do, sorry, what you don't want to do to yourself, don't do to others. It nurtures our empathy, and it's very important. And lastly, uh, it taught us that if we want to achieve something, we need to sharpen our tools so that we can achieve everything we need to do. All right. Thank you, Lecture Hong, for bringing us this wonderful sharing. Now I will pass the microphone to Kuno. Kuno, you have the floor, please.